is this idea of time being a lever. And the more leverage you can create with just time, it makes a big difference. So, for instance, I started getting up a half hour earlier than what I would normally get up, and I can just feel it almost expanded my day. It makes it to get more into that day. And as you see here, I just recently started taking my scheduling off of just like a regular, like I can go to, like I have a calendar here that I use that combines all my calendars. As you can see right here, it's called Amy. I was using this. This calendar has all six of all my calendars here, but for some reason I get overwhelmed. For some reason I just get overwhelmed when I see a calendar. So I just start by here by kind of like using this chart that I made, and I have a lot of flexibility. So I can during the course of the day I'm always checking and seeing, okay, where am I at? So today's Thursday. I'm right here getting coffee. Have a buffer time, which is what I'm doing right now. And then I have a meeting coming up. But then I have a block of meeting here, and then this is where I do my research calls. But this this has been really helpful in helping me to create more leverage in my time. Uh, which usually when I have been speaking about leverage, it's really been about like team leverage or capital leverage or tool leverage or template leverage, like different things that I'm sharing. But now I'm really diving into like the ultimate leverage is time itself. Um, I mean, there's another leverage on top of that, which I would say energy, where your energy is at. But time right now is critical, and being able to track where you're at. And let me just make a preface. I don't like to get too religious about this because I need to give myself some flexibility, and I'm not rigid at all when it comes to this. That's why I have these drop downs so I can easily adapt to what's going on. But this is what it's looking like right now. So just wanted to share that with you really quick. So this morning I was talking about flexibility in time, and I had a pretty long. It was a long session today from 12 to 2. That just got canceled. So I am heading back to my office, which was a good thing because it allowed me to do some more of the research that I'm doing. I'm getting so much out of it that maybe this was a blessing in disguise. So anyway, I'm heading back to the office right now. So stay tuned. Follow. You want to come? Come on. Let's go. We're going. Hey, let me know in the comments, how rigid are you with your calendar, or are you flexible? Like I said, I thought I had my whole day planned out, but it switched in like a minute. Something came up that for my business partner. Anyway, put in the comments, are you flexible or are you rigid with your calendar? Where you going?
I'm going to a speech.
You're gonna do a speech? What's your speech about?
What is it? It's about me. My business.
Your business. Oh wow, they're gonna love it. You look great. Let me see your hair. Oh, and you're bowing?
And look, the sparkles.
Oh, ooh, who did all that?
My mom.
Oh, looks amazing.
The dress was in the shoes.
All right, well, you can't be too long. You look amazing. Well, that was a pleasant surprise. Yeah, my daughter, she has a speaking engagement. Her and my wife have a speaking engagement. They're doing something, I think it's called Young Girls Rock or something like that. But she was invited to talk about her business and her experience. So it's for all girls. My daughter was, she quickly reminded me, it's all for all girls. But anyway, yeah, so I hope that goes good for them. But again, this is the time thing. Like, if I would have had those other meetings, I would not have had that little experience. The more and more I start talking to these legacy business owners that have been in business for 20, 30, 40 years. I think the longest one I just talked to today was actually 47 years. It made me think about my daughter. I mean, she started her business when she was 4 years old. She's about to turn 6 in a couple weeks. And it just, has me thinking about like, this whole idea of generational wealth and generational businesses and how they're able to maintain for that long. And a part of it is like the family structure is such an important and maybe an overlooked ingredient. I know family structures are, in today's day and age, are very fluid in the sense that, it's not as traditional as it was in those times, but so it still applies, I should say, it still applies, but the environment that that child is in makes a big difference. One person I spoke to, she had the business for 47 years, and she said she grew up around the business. So she always grew up around it. So it was something that was just a natural progression, a part of her identity. And within that family structure, time is locked in that, meaning that I can see, through my daughter's eyes, I'm able to see, she's 6, I'm able to see at least 80 years out. I can see 80 years out, 80 to 100 years out, just through her eyes and, the impact that she can have starting right now. Which gives you a sense of like, oh wow, your seed is going to continue, your genetic makeup is going to continue. And even for my family, and it's an interesting study that I'm doing that is really bringing some sobriety to I should say it's balancing me out and allowing me to integrate this idea of the new and the old and how to bring these two things together. And that's what my company is all about. We're acquiring TFX. We are acquiring businesses, not more internet-based businesses to start with. But the more I'm talking to these traditional legacy-based businesses, the more sounds it's very interesting. So stay tuned. We're gonna keep going at it. So stay tuned. Hey, let me know in the comments, what does generational wealth mean to you? Does it mean anything to you? Should we even be thinking about generational wealth? Put it in the comments. I want to hear from you. I love when I find things on Twitter that resonates with me at a very high level. And literally, I was just on here and, thinking about this whole idea of building generational businesses. And in this day and age, it's going to take more than just thinking about a business and a brand. You really have to, it goes to the extreme of a cult of sorts. And I'm using that term loosely, so don't take it the wrong way. But yes, I am the guy that that is intrigued by when I'm on Netflix and I see those documentaries about the cults. Like, I'm always fascinated by the person that creates the cult and then the people that follow the cult, and the things that had to take place, But cult is just, the root word of culture. But this right here got me in terms of like branding. And that's one of the things that, my background is in brand and brand development and those things. But this encapsulates like how I'm approaching my vlog. Like, I'm not just building a funnel. I'm literally culture hacking my way into the space of private equity and venture capital in these areas. I'm literally culture hacking it under the radar right now, and it just goes on and on and on. And it really just like sparked me because this is how I think about it. This is really how I think about it. This is not just a transactional thing; it's a relational thing. As far as the messaging, like my messaging is my lifestyle, it's how I live, it's what you're seeing, what I'm letting you in on. But I just love, when these nuggets just like pop out when I need them the most, because this is the only way to create even if you have a business or not, this is like the only way to create like a legacy business, is through this extreme level of creating this type of brand behavior. And it starts with you. It really starts with you. The thing that really makes me think a lot about, that brand cult behavior is in how that contrasts to generational businesses, is because it makes me wonder, like, in a world of so much distraction, so much choice, how does one or a group of people cultivate generational, even a generational language that can be spoken to pass on from generation to generation, because of the paradox of having so many choices. There's so many different ways to quote unquote make money, but all that distraction, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around, how this type of generational business gets created. A lot of it's really simple, actually. Like the more people I'm talking to, the simpler it is. And you can hear the difference when you're talking to these boomers. Like, they didn't have all these choices. It wasn't like they were trying, like, entrepreneurship wasn't cool for them. Entrepreneurship is like, hey, I'm trying to feed my family. Like, I'm not, just not nothing cool. Now we're in this space where entrepreneurship is like this cool thing and everybody's trying to do it. So it's just like, it's more of a trendy type situation, where the more I'm hearing it, it was so simple. It was like, hey, you get a customer. It was like, and you just do that over and over again, and you just focus on the customer, focus on making sure the customer is happy, and that's how you fed the family. So it wasn't like how entrepreneurship is now, where there's just so much going, like so many different options. So I wanted to leave you with that, as I'm thinking about that. I'm winding down, yeah, let me know. I'm about to head out for the night, but this is what I need you to do. I'm going to give you some homework for this weekend. Go to your Netflix account, if you have a Netflix account, and look for this documentary called The Social Dilemma. The Social Dilemma. And what I want to talk about is the reprogramming of civilization. And I want to talk about that in the context of this idea of building generational businesses, and how we've been wired in a way over the last 20, 30 years through social media to see things through a certain lens, or not see things through a certain lens. So when you get a chance, find this documentary, let's talk about it, because I think there's something here in terms of growing a business and thinking from a long-term perspective. More and more, it's becoming clear to me that this is really a game of leverage. Sometimes, and I know I've been in this position where, you think entrepreneurship is like, oh, I'm going to get my freedom through entrepreneurship, but it's really about leverage. It's really about building and compounding leverage across, content, code, product, service, capital, building leverage across all these different paths and compounding it. And time is ultimately the number one form of leverage, is being able to leverage your time. That's what all these tools and things are for. So with that said, I'm out. If you want to know what's going to happen next episode, I would subscribe if I was you. All right. Peace.